Hello everybody and welcome to episode 37 of Competitive Magic with the Karnies. I'm your host from Italy, Andrea Mengucci, and joining me we have Javier Dominguez from Spain.
Hello everyone.
And Anthony Lee from Australia.
Hola.
Alright Karnies, we are back, and first and foremost, I want to ask a question direct to Anthony. Anthony, did you win the G-Trog Monster and Thalia promo card?
Not even close.
No.
That's
Just
sad.
so it's
close?
clear. Just so it's clear for the listeners. Mengu actually didn't know that. It was a sincere question. Because I understand that with a lot of player groups, someone would mostly ask that question if they already knew the answer. But Mengu is a genuine person and did not know the answer. You know, he was really asking out of a sincere interest for the goings-on in my life. It's great to have friends like Mengu.
But what happened? Wait,
You just said you lost. That's it. You're not gonna say like, "Oh, I lost," and tell some stories.
What do
Yeah,
you want from me? Like, do you want me to do the classic Magic player thing where I was like, "Wow, I played against someone with a million Sunfalls or whatever"? I mean,
Yes,
not very
exactly.
interesting. Sometimes you lose. That's the thing that happens. I don't know.
Maybe you drafted a good deck. You're happy, things like that. Just share. What would you?
I drafted an RK deck. My opponents had very powerful cards that were more powerful than the cards in my deck. Sometimes that happens. I think that happens in March of the Machine. Sometimes, especially, but I enjoy the format a lot. But of course, the density and the power level of the res means that sometimes it's going to happen. But I think on average, I really love this draft format. But this was definitely one of the ones where you go away and you're like, wow, I hate this set so much because they have a million rares or whatever nonsense thing that people were saying in week one of the format, Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes talking about how we lose is interesting, but sometimes it's not. And then, there's nothing that I hate more than, well, okay, there are a lot of things I hate more, but I do hate it when, someone has to regale you with some like terribly uninteresting bad beat story. It's like, oh wow, you spent like 5 minutes to tell me that you lost to a Sunfall. Those 5 minutes I'll never get back. So I tried to spare you from that, and you asked for it anyway. So you got it, and I hope you're happy now, Mengu.
Thank you. What about you, Javier? Did you play in the Arena Open this weekend?
You're gonna love it. Yes, and I lost to the Sunfall.
Oh,
what do you mean you lost to the Sunfall?
Yeah,
How did it go? Did you make day two?
I
did
did
you
mate
not
two.
make day two?
I did mate two my first try, so it was kind of good. But yeah, I agree with Anthony overall with the format and the such, but I just had to, I had to say it.
That is truly
I did lose to the
serendipitous.
Sunfall. Yeah.
Did you lose to Sunfall, Mengu?
I played also in the Arena Open. No, the very last play before closing the stream was a tally from my opponent who flipped a, believe the name was Glistening Dawn, the one that makes 2 tokens.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then I didn't even check what the decks are from my deck. I just
Is
conceded.
it finished? All right.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
That was the last play of my opponent, and then I closed the arena and I'll reopen it next time.
Oh,
Bye bye, Arena.
that's tragic.
Speaking of arena, this weekend, am I right? There is the very important arena tournament.
Yes, Arena
Yes.
Championships 3. Yes. It
Right,
is.
Anthony, you tested a lot of standard for this week. I'm sure, right?
Not really. I was more worried about other things. I mean, I would have, but I've been moving house, which is literally the only reason that I haven't really. But I mean, the standard format. Well, I think there are still things to find out. And there was the new set, March of the Machine Aftermath. So I think we might see. I don't know. I mean, I just don't want to assume that it's all going to be the same. Maybe it is, for all I know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what might develop. I understand that there will be bans right afterward, but I think there will still be things that we can build on that come out of this event.
Yeah, I think despite that the Pro Tour, Rakdos dominated with first 4 people in the Swiss being the same deck, the top 8 broadcast was actually super diverse because the other 4 deck in the bracket were all different. So I believe there was 0 mirror match throughout the whole Sunday
there was
broadcast.
0 match. I am also obliged to point out that I feel like it's not necessarily accurate to say. I mean, it is technically correct. It is accurate to say that the top 4 all Rakdos mid-range, but clearly there is also another factor going there where it's all the same team, right? So I think that might affect perception more than it probably should. I think just saying it was all the top 4 were Rakdos mid-range after Swiss is not entirely representative, I would say. So
it could be also different decks, right? Like, I mean, that Rakdos was maybe the best deck for the PT, but it could be like only to the top it or something, like in other circumstances.
Like, I don't think the deck actually did that well. Like, if you exclude the results of the handshake players, it's like Black Red did not actually do that well in the tournament. Like, it was fine, but it's not like a crushing deck or anything. And I could certainly see other things coming. I don't know what. I'm not saying that I know that there's something else. I'm just saying that I don't feel like playing Black Red was like, well, so overwhelmingly awesome that there could never be anything else, Because it's not like we were that confident about it going in either, were we, Javier? Like, we were like, oh, I guess.
No. I mean, we were
it's
confident
like, oh my God, we crushed it.
We were playing it. No, we were confident we were playing it, and we were happy about the Rakdos. Like, we were confident on the Rakdos version being good inside the Rakdos archetype. We were confident in that, but we were not confident on Rakdos being good. That's the two different things. Like,
that is an important distinction. And especially in Standard, I do like to pick the deck that we feel good about, our ability to play. But yeah, it's not like we went in being like, wow, we're going to crush this tournament with our awesome Black Red deck. Like, it's just, decent, And I think I would be cautious of taking away too much from the particular performance of Black Red.
One question though, I think, do you think the bannings are going to be heavily influenced by what happened on this arena arena tournament? By the way, the deck has already been sent, but do you think it's
it would be impossible for the bans to be affected by the arena championships, right? It's literally the day after. I mean, Wizards is not going to make bans in a day, right?
Or maybe the deck list these people submitted. Do you think it's going to affect
that's
considerably?
That's just a small window to make these decisions. Like,
it's 1 week, though. It's 1 week. 1 week is a lot.
It was on Sunday, yeah.
I suppose so, but it sounds... No, but Javier's saying that they've submitted the decks now, so, like, maybe they do get some more days to decide, but I don't know. It sounds tough to me, but maybe it could have some influence, perhaps, but I would be surprised if it was a significant factor. I sort of assumed they decided already. What were you saying, sorry?
It's only two tournaments. Like the PT and this, a big tournaments from Standard. So
yeah,
it seems like if you only see the PT, it tells only half of the story.
Yeah,
like this is like the other PT, right? So maybe it makes sense.
Maybe and this event is serious, by the way. Like, it's only 32 players, but it's quite a strong field, right? So
it's like another PT in a way.
I would take it seriously for sure. Yeah, maybe they would be remiss to skip it. I don't really know. I mean, we just have no idea what their internal processes are for making these decisions. But yeah, maybe what people have submitted will influence what they do.
This things reminds me the Pro Tour that Javier ended up winning with Gruul. They announced the bannings the day after the Pro Tour, but they got the deck list the week before. So it's like exactly the same situations, and they only banned Field of the Dead after the PT and Oko. And then they ban Oko at the next.
Well, but we know, we know that they didn't ban Oko not because it was not the best card ever or whatever, but because it was like just released and they didn't want to release a card.
A mythic rare that was in the boxes and etc.
It's incredible that they didn't ban Zertar Goblin after it won that Pro Tour. So they're basically asleep at the helm, really. Everybody was calling for Oko to be banned, but I was really thinking, when is Zertar Goblin finally going to release us from its iron grip?
Also, McCleave was not even, I was not even rating McCleave's high until the tournament itself, so not even.
I mean, I guess I'll also address it, that, obviously there is some speculation about what could happen, and there was a so-called leaked announcement, but I would, after reading it, I'm reasonably sure that it's a fake announcement, and, I think people should not put stock in these things. And I mean, you can talk about it if you want, right? Maybe it's a way to generate discussion, but I would certainly caution people against having their expectations anchored by potentially and perhaps even probably fake announcements. So, we're not going to talk about the specifics of the unconfirmed announcement, but don't let that set your expectations for what should happen. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing that you should expect to happen is that Fable will go because everybody knows it's going to happen, and that B, that Invoke will go because Javier said it would, and it made a lot of sense. So that is where your expectations should be anchored, if that helps.
Well, now if they went Invoke, I'm going to feel guilty in a way.
Thank you for addressing this, because I don't like to talk about leaks ever. And today on my chat, a lot of people asked me the question, and I was always like dodging it. But thank you for answering
right.
in a proper way.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about this from the perspective of liking or not liking leaks. Like, I don't really love them, but it's maybe I'm not as strongly opposed to them as you are. But I just don't think it's helpful, and I think it can often be damaging both to players and to wizards to think too much about them or to take them very seriously. So I think we're all better off if we don't, especially in this case. I think. So yeah, all right. Well, there's that bans or not bans, who knows? And the Arena Championship, that should be really interesting as well, right?
Is that event only standard or also draft?
It's also draft. So
it's like a PT. Cool. It's like a PT. It's a very good tournament. I kind of want to. I try to play one of these, but I just keep failing to qualify.
It's very hard. It's 32 people, and you have to
Yeah.
It's so hard, right? You have to 7-1 or something, right?
Yeah, it's very hard.
Oh, speaking of very hard tournament to qualify to, this past weekend there was the Mox final, so 8 people, and the winner was True Hero, Marco Vassallo from Italy. Very happy for him because he's one of the friends that I'll go with to Valencia in 2 days. I've been doing some cubes with him on Discord. He actually 3-0'd the cube. With the powerful start of Mox Sapphire Ancestor Recall on turn 1.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah, and so he got to win the final against Sean from England. He was playing this Gorio Vengeance deck with Atraxa. I don't know if you saw it. It's crazy. Like, I kept on asking him, like, why are you playing this deck? And he just liked the deck, I guess.
He didn't have an answer for you beyond I like the deck?
He said he's been winning here and there, but I don't know. Personally, when I tried the deck, I didn't like it, but he won the important match.
You said you asked him, and what answer did he give you? You just said you asked him, and then he just said he likes the deck and he's winning. A bit like what? Like, well, what kind of answer is that?
He's a player that very much like plays whatever he likes. You can see from his deck choices in the little tournaments, and doesn't really follow too much the. I don't know. It's just definitely an interesting player, which again brings this super cool new decks all the time.
Wow, this is
I don't have that much to say to justify him, but
no, I mean, I mean, he doesn't need to win unification. He's won the whole thing, It's
exactly, yeah, exactly. He won the final against Creativity, so I guess his deck is good enough to defeat the one way to put a large creature into play.
Does anyone else really enjoy the fact that the most stock, arguably the most stock deck? Or, the kind of default best deck in Modern is called Creativity. It's the furthest thing from creativity as a concept you could get now. It's, I find it very funny.
I mean, there was a time where Creativity was actually not even in a deck. It's so crazy to think because it's all not new cards.
But all the bad guys, I think a lot of people miss that, all the bad guys in the format started out as one of these funny little brews, At some point, it was Edgewall Innkeeper was a cute little card that some brews played, in standard. So, all the villains have to grow up.
Hammer Time was also a meme deck for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, Hammer Time was. I think Hammer Time was there until they printed the Saga and then just Skyrocket.
Exactly. It was a meme deck before Saga.
A lot of decks are one kind of way of being great. Yeah, exactly. But sometimes it takes a new Merfolk card to become a good deck. It's usually one card short.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Yeah, he didn't say anything of importance. I can assure you of that, Mengu.
Yeah.
Hardened Scales, like the Osprey or whatever.
And also, I think another important thing from this weekend mocks was that Juju Bean and Bernas, they brought Sultai Infect, which isn't really a deck either, but they decided they decided it was the deck to bring.
Yeah, I'm just imagining, like, because I think something was Bernas playing against Carl. Imagine you just play Infect and, because you made it in the field, and then you get paired against Carl, who has, like, main deck Ballistas and Chalice to avoid. That must have been rough, in a way.
I mean, I assume there's going to be a lot of that at the mocks in particular, where, like, because it's such a small event and it's modern, like, the players are very strongly incentivized to metagame. So, like, I'm very doubtful that, I mean, I can't speak for them, obviously, but I really doubt that the Bean and Burnus, like, both decided that Infect is just, like, an awesome deck in Modern, right? Like, they probably looked at what their opponents had played historically and decided that Infect was going to be good against that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of meta. I remember these mocks where I think it was the name, I forgot the name, Will, like, who took the Valakud deck into the field of Omnaths, which was...
it was Will Kruger, right?
Kruger.
Yeah, like, this was a very well-picked deck, right? I think that's a kind of winning move in this kind of tournaments. I think that was what they were trying to do here, even though it didn't work as much, because at least
I will say that mostly applies.
Actually countered that, but like...
I would say that mostly applies only to very small tournaments and only like modern tournaments in particular.
Exactly, but it's I think this is a kind of tournament to do those things. Like if you're ever gonna play a wild deck because of a few matchups, this is the. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad move. Like I don't think they made a mistake on it. Yeah, I think it's a very hard. I think it's impossible to judge from the outside. Like we cannot be like, yeah, I mean, this deck is bad, that's good. Because we don't really have not done the studying every one of the opponents, to see. I mean, everyone knew there was a Mill player, but everyone else could be like, they had like, because also there's
it's LR.
LO, yeah, exactly.
Library out.
But
yes.
like,
what's that?
Yes,
library out.
I want to tell this afterwards, but like, yeah. So there's even like the decks they have played, but if you know the person, you can also think which decks they could ever play. Like I mean, Bernas maybe never played Infect, but he used to play everything, right? A lot of players can play everything, and if you have enough of this, you get into this leveling war, and I think it's very interesting. I mean, I hope I get to play one of these.
It's definitely very different to normal tournament play. So like a lot of the time, I think I've heard many people try to explain bigger tournaments as being, in air quotes, inbred, but that's not really a thing outside of these particular MOX events. But for the MOX in particular, I think you probably can call these events to some degree inbred in that players are really incentivized to metagame very heavily against each other. So, I mean, I'm not saying that you should ignore the decks from this, but you should. I would advise caution again that. This does not necessarily mean that Infect is back in Modern or whatever outside of a very specific context. You really should be careful before registering a deck like that.
And also, the other thing is, like, they ask... So this is Tibalt player who always played Modern and won the MOX, the Mill Modern. And in an interview... I mean, Anthony knows better. But they tell the interview he answered.
In the interview, they talk about... you answer a bunch of questions about what you're like in Magic or whatever, and this guy, I think his name is Tibalt of Red Sub, is a Japanese player who explained that LO is life, and and then explained that in Japan they have different words for different concepts, right? And Mill for them is library out, or LO for short. So he's just like, I love LO. LO is life. This is a guy. So we're just talking about how everyone is like, super. Everyone is meant to be metagaming against each other, bringing like wild decks that they would normally never play. But this guy's just like, I don't know. I love Mill, and I qualified with Mill because I never play anything but Mill, and also I'm playing Mill in this tournament. I don't really care if you all know that. So, I kind of love that. LR, yeah. I don't know how he did.
Yeah, he's a legend. The Legend of Mill,
I don't know how we did, but every deck had one Eldrazi, and the winner, Sean, the one that went 3-0, actually played 2 Eldrazi too.
Just in
case.
That's
what I mean, right? Like that's the metagaming that happens. Like everyone, like I just know that there's like 1 out of my 7 opponents is playing Mill for sure. So That's quite
Imagine
fun.
if he just shows up with like burn, you know?
Burn. Yeah, that's what I predicted too.
No, but
I
he
predicted
can't
that he
because
would
Elo
play
is
Burn.
nice. He just
Actually, if you
can't.
had put with burn, it would be sick because burn will actually beat infect probably, and also to try like burn would be like a sick metagame call for this tournament. Actually, it will be fun, you know.
Yeah.
Just burn, bam.
Well, actually, in the first round, Tibalt got paired against Hammer, which is a terrible matchup for Burn.
Yeah, okay, but
Oh,
still,
damn.
overall, if you see the metagame, burn will be good, I think.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that I only watched the first match because then I went to sleep because it was late.
What about
to me,
Eldrazi
but
Tron? Do we think that was like a good metagame call?
I don't know. I think it was a great metagame call because there were two infects and a meal, right? So
That sounds like an accident, not a great metagame call.
it was an accident. I mean, but how do you evaluate metagame calls? I mean, did you just have to evaluate the results, right? Like it's an accident, of course, but
maybe.
you know, like let's say Carl expected some players to go under because of the metagame, you know. Then
Yeah, so you didn't have to be against infect. Okay.
it doesn't. I mean, it could be infect, but it could be like other decks like this. So maybe that's good, you know.
That's totally
I
reasonable.
don't know. I don't know how goes Tron against Hammer. Probably pretty bad. If that's the
Can't
case, maybe
imagine
it's
it's
risky
good.
because yeah. And I don't think that I don't think Tron is a very good deck, but it was good in this metagame. Like in this 7 opponent metagame where two players are kind of dead to Ballista or Chalice in a way, especially Ballista.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if I was Carl, I would be like, wow, this is just so great for my deck. It's even better than I could imagine, in a way.
Yeah, better than imagine. Like, there's no way he would have been like, yeah, Bean's definitely going to turn up with infect, and then, you know, just runs face first into your Eldrazi Tron deck.
Yeah, that's strange. That's very strange.
yeah, modern. You can do these things, and I would say that all the boxes are modern, or sometimes were they not modern?
I think they've been Pioneer. Like, I remember one half a year ago was Pioneer, right? The one with Nathan and Marcio.
Okay, yeah, where they play
Pioneer.
Phoenix. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Wow, what a sick
But
mox.
Javier will try to qualify in the next one with the Legacy Showcase. Am I right? Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about some of the challenges, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, Friday Modern Challenge, first place, Twinless Twin with Blue-Red Murktide with a stunning 4 copies of Murktide Regent, which we haven't seen at all in Blue-Red Murktide in a while. He's playing with 2 copies of Thought Scour to fuel for the extra spells in the graveyard. This is something interesting. It's a very different take, and I guess that's what you need in order to bring Murktide back at the top. It's just to revolutionate your deck list.
I don't know if I would call adding Thought Scour again revolutionary, but I understand what you're saying. You need to change something, I suppose. I mean, I don't think that's a substantial enough change to think that was why, like, Murktide returned, right? Like, I think it would be more about other things like positioning, or that Twinless Twin is very good at playing this type of deck, I imagine.
For sure, yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, I just don't think
sure.
adding 2 Thought Scours can... It doesn't fundamentally change your deck in any way. Like, this is not how that card works or how the deck works, but I think there is some expertise, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that Murktide Regent is a very good card against, for example, combo decks where you just pressure them very quickly, and if you cast Murktide Regent, even if it's a 6/6 or a 5/5 on turn 2 or 3 with like one of the 3 Spell Pierce backup, you know, that might speed you up a lot, and maybe the formats went a little bit more combo with, you would see like Tron, Hardened Skills, Burn, and just in general, there is definitely a lot more combo decks with Creativity Rhinos and things like that. Maybe less interactive deck and more combo decks. Maybe this is why I'm thinking that 4 Murktide might be better than 2, but then again, this is just theory crafting and doesn't really change it too much, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been on the side that thinking Murktide was quite important to the deck. So, I mean, I don't think I've ever been okay with only playing 2 Murktides, because the way I see it is that in the matchups that Murktide is important, like they are the reason that you would play blue-red, right? Like, if you don't want to play 4 Murktide Regents, I don't really know what the point of playing like a disruptive mid-range deck like this is. So I've just always felt that was good. I mean, I think that's just part of the natural flux of a metagame, right? Like Murktide just died for a while there, but that means people stop respecting it and people start to bring out other decks that have not been played because they're bad against Murktide, and then Murktide gets its turn to shine again, and that's just part of the natural churn of a metagame. So, I think that's what I would imagine is the cause for this more than anything else, right?
Yeah, no, that's for sure. That's for sure. Metagaming is very important, and yeah, playing the same deck all the time obviously makes you sometimes bad, sometimes good.
It's like that old saying, broken clock is right twice a day if you just jam the same deck every single time. Like, I mean, sometimes it's
it will eventually be right. But we also know the classic person that plays the deck forever, and then when it becomes popular, it stops playing it. Like myself with his father's breakfast in Legacy, I guess. Like it just happens,
It can make sense.
It's the opposite clock, the opposite clock means you never write. In a way.
Speaking of decks that are very unfair, as I mentioned before, it's the second week in a row that the card Kragenwick Cremator does well in a challenge. This time it came second. The last week it just top 8'd, but this time I believe it was the same player came second. And I've played it with and against this deck, and trust me, this card Kragenwick Cremator is no joke. Like today I was playing Zoo, for example. I had Leyline Binding and Stubborn Denial up, and they just played this card. For those of you who don't know at home, it's a 4-mana, double red, 5/4. When it comes into play, you discard a card at random. If you discard a creature card this way, it deals damage to the power of the card. And they discard either Yargola Multani or Emrakul and just shoots you to the face, and that's lethal most of the time. So I was impressed, because this deck doesn't only do this, it also does the very powerful Glorious Vengeance Emrakul Underworld Cookbook, which has been doing well in Modern before. So this deck just added an extra win condition to a deck that was, somewhat weak to Graveyard hate and just Urza Saga hate, but this just doesn't care about that at all and just adds this fireball effect, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think this deck really reminds me of like the very classic like Modern with full of glass cannons. Like this is kind of, we've moved away from that in Modern in the more recent years past. Since Modern Horizons 2, we see way more hybrid decks, decks like Creativity, Rhinos, that sort of thing. I mean, off the top of my head, like what decks like play like the old classic Modern, like there's what, like even have like most of the decks are multi-dimensional. Maybe there's like Living End. I think only Living End. Like,
Tron Living End. Tron also.
Okay, yeah. I guess Tron still exists. Yeah, so those two. Whereas, like, yeah, this reminds me of those. I'm going to call them the bad old days. Some people are going to disagree. But this deck reminds me of the bad old days of Modern, where people just, like, where people had this, like, ships in the night idea, where all that started. But I think this deck looks like I think it's very good, because it does actually have multiple angles, right? Like, you don't fall to, like, any one type of hate. You can like combo people in different ways with compelling overlap. I think I'm pretty impressed by
Saga, classic Saga also.
Yeah, of course. Like
the Saga, so many. What do you mean with compelling? Anyway, it's okay. Sometimes you say something that I don't understand. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Compelling angles. I think he means like all the angles. Like it's possible for all the angles to be good enough to win games.
Oh, okay.
Like you can actually turn to Goddess Vengeance people. You can grind them this with Asmo and Saga and the book, or you can also like, oh my god, this fireball.
Yeah, and you also have the Underworld Cookbook ability to return a creature. Often is like very important for your Kragenwick combo.
Well, I mean the other. It's not returning the creature that helps Kragenwick so much, but it's the ability to just discard all the misses in your hand. So it's not really random, right?
No. Yeah, that's for sure. No, just like the other ability is also very relevant here.
Yeah, they both work well. I don't know. There's just so much good synergy here, right? Like,
and you also, we haven't mentioned Profane Tutor, but that's so important for this deck to work.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's so scary. Like if they suspend Profane Tutor on turn 2, it's like today I was playing Zoo against this deck. Actually, I got paired against this deck twice today, and it's so scary. Like on turn 4, like they're gonna do something bad. Notably, I had Leyline Binding for Emrakul a couple of times that they tried to Gore's Vengeance, which is kind of awkward, right? That your Emrakul gets stopped by 1 mana flesh.
But the thing is, like,
answer,
but it doesn't have to be because they can like go for the Krakenwick kill instead, right? Like
exactly. Yeah,
that's the thing.
Sure.
Yeah, they have all the angles. It's
yeah,
quite something.
No, but I think it's less of a joke as it sounds, and I wanted to mention it because
no, for real. Yeah, like this looks like the thing that like this looks like a meme deck, but it's actually good, which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, but I believe it was a Chariots man who said he was on a like 4-0 prelim. Like he did very, very well in like three prelims in a row. I believe he said it's something like 11-1 in the last 3 prelims with this deck. So I would really think that this is not a meme and a deck to and also again one of the reasons why maybe Murktide is good again is that these class cannon combo back.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. I think this would be. I actually don't know how the Murktide matchup would be against this deck. I would just have to play, and I haven't. So
has to be fine for Murktide. You try to resolve a combo pieces or a full mana card, sorcery speed. Like it has to be not good.
You also have Urza Saga though, which is not and Asmo. 2 cards that are somewhat annoying. I mean, Asmo does the removal, but sometimes if you play Asmo with 2 blood up, 2 food up, you can kill a Shredder and things like that.
I would not like to play against Murktide with this. Pretty much any combo deck, but this even worse.
Yeah. And also, you have Epicure to block Ragavan. That's another, a joke, but it comes up.
Epicure, so good.
The return of Voldaren Epicure.
Voldaren Epicure is a multi-format superstar.
Last time seen with Crack the Earth.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Crack the Earth, staple in Paupers. It is a very good card, apparently, somehow.
And now it's also in Pioneer, right?
Yeah,
the Boars Convoke deck.
It is a multi-format superstar. It's everywhere.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You better get a beautiful playset.
Was right the whole time.
He was
incredible.
Yeah.
What did he say?
I think he said that he thought Voldaren Epicure was like very powerful. Just making game objects would be good, that sort of thing. And well, I mean, that's what it did. So.
Yeah, I was talking today on stream about the Crimson Vow Innistrad. The 2 most powerful cards are they Bloodlet Harvester and Voldaren Epicure?
Maybe
that might be true.
Maybe there's some.
Crimson Vow.
Yeah. I mean, Graveyard Trespasser also maybe.
No, that's from the other set.
It's a Midnight Hunt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, what is in Crimson Vow? That's wild. There's
they
no
have
way.
like Sorin, the Mirthless,
Midhood
Massacre.
Maybe.
No, Myth Massacre is the other one.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. For me, they're all the same set. So.
Wow, that is rough.
I mean, Harvester is a very good card. So
yeah, but like the best card in the set.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I mean,
no, I think it is, but it's just so weird that like random, random.
I think it's the best legal 2-drop in Pioneer, so I don't think it's that rare.
There's Wedding Announcement. Do you think
Wedding Announcement is a better card than Harvester?
No, but I think it's better
Magical
than
Line currently. Yeah, on Magical Line currently, Wedding Announcement is one of the most expensive cards, by the way.
That's yeah. I don't believe in Wedding Announcement still, but
okay.
I understand.
All right. Anything else standing out from this weekend challenges? We have a lot of Tron decks, a lot of mono black Cabal coffers.
By a lot, there's a lot. Like there's like 3 Tron decks in 3 challenges.
Yeah, there's a lot.
They just I don't know. They just win. Like
yeah, a Zoo deck won the challenge on Saturday, and he was playing the Invasion of Tarkir. Today I played with it. It was cool. I treble flamed the Invasion of Tarkir.
I saw 2 mono black, which I mean, it's not the first time I mentioned this deck. I keep mentioning it because it keeps being in the top week after week.
Yeah,
this deck.
No, for sure.
If you're looking for a deck, you can pick this up because I have lost to this deck a few times. It feels very stable and it's powerful and just keeps making top it. And I'm pretty sure that this can still be improved. So it's don't sleep on that deck because it's. I know Tron wins a lot too, but I think this deck is actually even better. And yeah, I mean. Just keeps being there. It's probably better than Merfolk, I have to say.
Yeah, 8 Field of Ruin is important. 8 Field of Ruin in Modern they come up. Like
Yeah,
there's not that many basics. Like if you start Field of Ruining Creativity, they will crumble.
Exactly. I was playing Creativity like twice against this deck, and it was like it's just like so hard. Like it's very easy for them to actually stop like storming my lands with Field of Ruin. Like it's just so annoying. And also this whole like, it's as easy as like you can get like Karn into the Stormbrain or whatever. So I have to kill them fast anyway. It was tough. Like I think this deck is very good against Creativity specifically. And I think once I get back to play more Modern, I think this, if I remember, because I'm very forgetful, but like if I remember that this will be a deck I will try next time. I think. Who knows?
Interesting.
Anthony, make sure to remind Javier to play this deck when he comes back to Modern.
Do I really need to remind him? I think. I think
he said he's forgetful. He said he forget things.
Okay, I tend to forget things. Yeah.
He's not gonna forget this one. I sense there is some passion here. I think no chance he forgets.
I don't know why is this, but I have this kind of thing when I see like Ghost Quarters and Field of Ruins, I need to play them, but I need to play them to a point where my opponent has no basics anymore. Like I see this deck, and the first thing I want to do is put the Crucible of Walls in the sideboard so I can play Karn, get Crucible of Walls, and just make sure they have no lands.
My impression was that
I want to do it every time.
You also have Sundering Titan if you like that feeling.
No, that's
but I want to kill every one of them. Yeah, I want to kill every one of them each turn. Yeah, it has to be one per turn, like Crucible of Walls. Like I see this deck and I'm like, wow, can I ever like cut Invoke Despair and just put like Ghost Quarter as well? Like that's what I'm
do you know they actually Crucible Strip mined me the other day on stream. They had the Deeproot Warrior. Do you know the card?
Yeah.
2 mana 2/3. When deals damage to a player, surveil 1, reanimate a land. And then they had Leonin Arbiter and they had Ghost Quarter.
GG. Yeah.
So I could never go out, and they had Giver of Runes to give unblockable to the Deeproot Warrior.
I like that kind of decks, and I think that's why I would like this mono black. It's like just prison. Just kill all their lands, and they have no lands anymore, and then you can just play like a Shieldred or whatever.
I just assumed you like
lands is fun. I agree.
Huh?
I just assumed you liked it because it had Cabal Coffers, which is a card that was printed like, I don't know, like Cleopatra was queen or something. I don't know. It's so old.
2004, 2003, Odyssey?
2002 and 3.
2003, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I was never a big fan of because they were like mono black in that era, but it was the blue green madness. I was more of a blue green guy than a mono black guy. Yeah.
Ooh, like
I used to play with my sister, right? So she was the one playing mono black, and I was the one playing blue green. So that's why I was on the blue green side of things. But no, I'm not a big fan of Cabal Coffers. I'm a big fan of Field of Ruin. I mean, I want to play that card. I want to punish all these players with 1 basics or 0 basics.
For those of you who don't know, Javier has a very important past of Martyr Reclamation player.
Yeah, more like Martyr only, but yeah, this mono white. I mean, I qualified to the PT with mono white control with a lot of Field of Ruins and Ghost Quarters.
And the Blanco.
See, mono white, and there was I enjoyed it a lot. So I mean, maybe I see this one as the grandson of that deck, which is probably like fair. Yeah, I definitely want to try this. Yes, I will.
I must mention that in top 8 there is the player Leandro, who qualified to the MOX with Eldrazi and is playing mono black Cabal Coffers. So he quit Eldrazi to play mono black Cabal Coffers.
Nice. I mean, this is giving me hope.
A gentleman of fine tastes, I see. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
this
Leandro.
This deck looks. I don't know. Yeah.
Although Leandro's playing with Shadow of Doubt, whereas the other player doesn't. There is a lot of discrepancy, I believe that's the word, between these two versions. I believe that, for example, the other top 8 has 3 main deck engineered explosives, because I believe one of the weakness of this deck is the, Rhinos matchup.
Sure.
It's not that you fix it with 3 main deck explosives, but they help, of course.
Sure, yeah. I could buy that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... I don't know. Maybe you can just play a lot of bullets and Profane Tutors. That's a...
Yeah, Profane Tutor is actually absent from both lists.
Yeah, I mean, but if you play like a toolbox, maybe that's good. I wonder if this could be like a Ensnarning Breach deck as well. Because you can play Hunting Breach and then Crucible of Walls and then Field of Ruin, So then they cannot play. Cannot attack also.
I believe...
That's all I want to do. I don't know. I can't help it.
my problem with Ensnaring Bridge lately is that ever since they made Boseiju and Otawara, they're like so common that it's so common for everyone to just have answers, you know what I mean? Whereas before, you just play the bridge and there's so many decks that just couldn't get under the bridge.
That is true, but I'm thinking like most decks in Modern now attack or they're a buy for Mono Stone Drain, right? Like even if you have one answer or something, they still attack. Like you play against like, I don't know.
Yeah, Murktide, for example, has like maybe one Otawara, one Borrower. Notably, Twinless Twin has dropped the Otawara. Wow, only as the Borrower, but...
Yeah, it's not that. If you drop a Running Breach against some, blue-red...
Yeah.
They play a lot of basics, which is annoying, but I don't know. There's something. I think that things could work here, but I don't believe the Cabal Coffers Urborg Invoke Despair is necessarily the best thing to do with this shell. Like maybe we can just play more of a normal deck. Like maybe normal deck is better, like a more like traditional black deck with removal sources and such, and just run Shield Red, because I think for Urborg for Cabal Coffers this must lead into a lot of mulligans. And I think the Invoke Despair payoff is maybe like not enough. Maybe it is,
also,
I'm sure. But...
Veil of Summer, it's actually a common card. I mean,
exactly.
And Invoke Despair, you don't even have Thoughtseize. So Veil of Summer really mostly just goes on Invoke Despair.
Yeah, I think this deck could be better, but I think the whole idea of like just playing black cards that are good, there's like Urborg, Field of Ruin, that's a good thing. We'll see, but could use Fellow Timber Breaker also, though. I feel.
But then you lose all the 9 swarms and etc.
And that's an issue. Maybe Mono White is back again. Mono White. Or maybe Green White. I don't know. I will definitely toy with the idea of playing a lot of Field of Ruins.
Yeah, if you get paired against Talai on Magic Online, just keep Levy hand. He's gonna blow them up.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Ghost Quarter. Yeah, I kind of want to go Ghost Quarter, something that Afusa and Crystal of Wolves. But I tried to make that work too many times, but maybe it is time to try again. Every few years I try it.
Do you plan on playing Modern at Four Seasons? Because for those of you who don't know, not this weekend, but the next one, me and Javier will be in Four Seasons in Bologna. It's an eternal weekend, but there's also a very large Modern event.
I will, but I will play a normal deck. I actually don't have a deck nor an idea of what to play. I will require help in other direction. I don't want to. Otherwise, I will end me playing like Tron or something.
So on Saturday, I'll play Legacy, so I can lend you any deck.
Oh, that's good. So. Then I will play whatever you lend me.
Real life mana traders.
I can. Yeah, I will ask for the deck from Mengu, and I will ask Anthony about which deck to ask for. So
I was gonna say it just sounds like so exploitable when you say I'll just play anything you give me. Like it just sounds like you're gonna get something completely.
No. I'm gonna play whatever Mengu gives me, but whatever Mengu gives me is gonna be whatever Anthony says I have to play. So that's what
I think that there's no chance I would use that to troll you. So
I mean, if you give me the Murktide Regent, I will be quite disappointed, but I will still play it.
I wouldn't do that to you. I think that's too mean.
You could give me Rhinos, I guess, because it's not super hard to play, and I think it's a very good deck. You could give me Hammer because it's a fun. You could give me. I don't know. I'm kind of excited now to know what.
I could give you Murfart.
What will you? You could give me Murfall, but if you're gonna give me a pleasure deck, may as well use the mono. Like I can just play. Okay, I have an idea. I could play Mono Black pre-release mode in the Four Seasons.
Nice.
This means release mode means you never played the deck before. That's why.
Actually, bad news.
You have played the deck before. You played it with your sister.
I don't have the Mono Black cards.
No, that's sad.
I don't have the. Well, I think I have everything actually. I only don't have Cabal Coffers. So
I don't like to do this for big tournaments or whatever, but playing a deck for the first time in a tournament has this kind of a strange sensation of let's find out.
Yeah, I love it.
You know what I mean, right, Mengu?
Yeah, the last Four Season, the team event, we actually rolled the formats before the event. Each of us brought a format, but then we just rolled the deck.
What did you end up playing?
Funnily enough, we ended up on the same decks that we brought, so it kind of felt like rigged, but it wasn't. It was
nice.
Yeah, I played Murktide, Blue Murktide.
Well, I also see 2 elementals. somewhere there in the top 8.
Yeah, with I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but both of these elementals deck are playing 3 copies of Nissa Resurgent Animist.
Yeah, this card's like kind of interesting. I think
one of them has Keruga, and the other one doesn't have a companion.
Yeah, I think the card is good here because it's good, but I think it's like not super good. Like I will be surprised if we have more than one copy, or after enough time, because the fail case of the card is very bad. Like it's just very bad.
Just
I think that's the issue.
That dies. Yeah, the trades down on all the efficient removal.
So,
yeah, exactly.
I played a league with Nissa, and honestly, I mean, again, obviously it's just one league, but I was impressed. The problem of Elementals is that it dies of flooding, right? This has been the problem of the deck ever since they banned Yorion, and Nissa kind of helps there. Like you can, it's not bad. I mean, it's not a great turn 3 play, unlike Reason Reef, but I mean, the Reason Reef wasn't a great turn 3 play anyway, but just overall, I've been impressed with Nissa, and I think that it's getting the Elementals deck better. Yes.
Okay, do you have Nissas I can borrow for the 4 seasons, Mengu?
Well, I bought 3 Nissas. They need to arrive, but I bought them actually pre-spike. I only paid them 13 euros.
All right, Anthony. So this one is in the menu, right? If you want me to play Elementals, I will be very happy to do so.
But I don't know. I don't know if it arrives by the time. And now Nissa is like 50 euros, so you don't want to buy it now for sure.
Probably will arrive. It's a lot of. We also have our luck combined.
I don't necessarily agree that Elementals loses the flooding. I think Elementals loses because of gaps in interaction. Like I don't think Nissa fixes a specific problem with the deck. Like maybe it's fine, but it's not like wow, this is the piece that Elementals was missing to bring it back into default.
No. That's true. That's true. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like. Yeah.
But it makes the deck better. That's what I said. I didn't say it's still gonna be to me like. Yeah, it's still gonna be not at the highest tier in my power rankings whenever I make it next week.
Yes,
but
I think the power rankings.
Yes, there is a deck that I always have high in my power rankings that is doing very poorly lately, and that's Yawgmoth. Why do you think is that?
Yeah, I mean
Rhinos matchups.
Probably
Scum and Rhinos are very popular.
Yeah, also Yawgmoth does not it seems like the format is speeding up a little bit, and Yawgmoth is it's a good deck against like the somewhat slow non-interactive decks or whatever. But I don't think it's faster. Like it's very good against Hammer, for example, but it's not good against the decks like the Yorion one or whatever. And I assume it cannot be like too good against like these elemental decks also, right? So maybe it's a little bit being pushed. I mean, they're playing still like Prismatic Ending plus Binding plus Solitude plus Fury.
Yeah,
so it's
Solitude.
Still it's a lot of.
Nissa draws Fury and Solitude a lot.
Exactly. So I think maybe that's a reason why. And I mean, I don't know, but do you think decks like these mono black decks are good against Yawgmoth? Because they might be, right? There's still like a lot of removals. I don't know. Maybe the metagame is not
Imagine if you go the Average Evolution and the opponent goes Shadow Doubt.
Oh Lord.
Well, but what are we going to do? Not cast it ever? Like it's very, it's kind of hard, right? And they also play with Damnation, so it's not like you can just slowly develop everything because they can use Damnation and then, So also Relic of Progenitors, like all these black decks play like a lot of Relic of Progenitors, which is also an annoying card. It's I don't know. Maybe those are like a lot of ifs that make ends.
Yeah, that's for sure something that I've noticed lately. It's the downtrend of Yawgmoth.
Bye, Yawgmoth in the top of power rankings in Mango. You'll be missed. You go with Hammer downstairs, tier 2.
Yeah, Hammer. Where is it? Okay, there's one. Okay, it's saved.
Yeah, but Hammer is like now. If you see the sideboards, there's still like enough hate for Hammer, but I mean, it cannot be too long until we start. Like we see Elementals, 3 Balls of Vigor, 3 Balls of Vigor of the Scales. I guess the Scales is different because it doesn't have like much else to play, but like Crushing Footfalls, 4 Force of Vigor. I don't know if this trend is going to stay for long. Like, it doesn't seem to me like there's enough Hammer or similar decks to justify that. There's one Hammer, one Scales, right? Like
there's not enough of anything. There's like a million different decks. It's.
No, I mean there are big mana decks, right? And there are like Cascade decks, and there are like Mortite decks. Those decks are like there, but I don't know. Like I start to feel like cards like Yeah, like Force of Vigor are a little bit narrow. It's not like explosives where it's good against Hammer, but also good against Rhino, so they overlap and they're good. It's just like there's a lot of like all decks are playing like Force of Vigor, 3 or 4 copies whenever they have green cards, and there's just not enough decks, I think, for that to. Yeah, I mean that's my impression at least. We'll see with time, but I think
Antonio, what is so Javier? As soon as you first start to test, first deck Javier starts testing is Mono Black. What's the first deck you start testing when you start testing Modern?
I wouldn't answer that question.
But I'm gonna test for the 4 seasons, not for the PT.
Oh,
okay. I just
right. Okay. Well, I don't have 4 seasons, so yeah,
you
I
will
would
miss a lot of great.
You don't
Italian
have 4 seasons in Australia. You only have 2. Or how does it work? Because
it kind of
usually
is
hot.
because we don't really have winter the same way you guys have winter. So maybe you could make an argument that we only have 3 seasons, maybe.
3. That's a weird number.
It is a bit strange, but it's fine. Yeah. I think. Yeah, I don't know very much. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna lock in Bilbo Baggins aggro or something. I don't know.
Did you knock him out, Mengu?
Oh, Bilbo Baggins aggro.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a new strategy that will arrive?
Yeah.
Turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Bilbo Baggins.
No, it's actually turn 1 Bilbo Baggins, turn 2 Ragavan, because Ragavan is dash, so you know.
Oh, yeah, to play around.
What does Bilbo Baggins do? It's a good.
It's probably good.
Is it spoiled already? Oh,
No,
yeah,
I'm
it's
just
not
making it
spoiled
up,
yet. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, it's not.
By the way, do you know, Anthony, that I started watching a TV show called Wellmania, and it is it's played in Sydney.
Favorite Anthony, like favorite place from Anthony.
What?
Yeah,
is it like some?
I think about you.
Is it some like horror dystopia or something?
No. It's I mean, it's a Netflix show, whatever. Nothing serious, but
Imagine Mango how tilting is for Anthony. Whenever we see Sydney, we think of him, but he hates it. It's kind of ironic in a way.
Yeah, it's actually the biggest spew. Like I already booked all of my stuff for the RC, like travel and accommodation, before the PT. And then I qualified. So I'm going to the RC for no reason, but only now it occurs to me that the RC is also in Sydney. So I'm actually just going to Sydney for no reason whatsoever.
Nice. I mean, you can just go for the back-to-back wins. I mean,
When's yours? When's yours? End of June?
Yeah, end of June. After yours.
June, yeah.
Are you gonna test even, Anthony, or are you gonna just go full net deck and play?
I have to test Bilbo Baggins aggro, so I probably won't put very much effort into Pioneer, but
we can play Bilbo Baggins mirror matches at some point. I mean, it's too early to start playing. It's too early to start playing Modern, isn't it? Or maybe it's
what
not.
Are you talking about? You're playing Modern right now. How can it be too early?
I'm playing Modern for fun, not Modern for the PT. I assumed you were talking about PT Modern.
Yeah, I was. I don't know. I mean, you can play one for fun if you want. That's inconceivable concept to me, but
Yeah, I'm glad you allowed me to play it. Yeah. That's ladies and gentlemen, this is the Anthony we love. Somehow. Okay, I think we should move ahead of Modern. Like there's other formats, like.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, Mango.
for example.
Yeah, you told me to. Do you remember you had a very 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 important Pauper thing to announce? So here we go.
Yeah, Anthony, I wanted to. I was happy to share with you my 9th place in a Pauper challenge. I'm sure you were very interested to hear it on the podcast.
Congratulations!
I mean, was it a clean cut or was it on breakers?
Oh, it was actually exactly the same tiebreaker showed on Magic Online.
Oh, second tiebreaker.
So
that's rough.
Yeah, you know how Magic Online decides to very lately develop this technology to show one tiebreaker only, which doesn't do anything outside of just tilting people whenever it's the same one.
Well, then I think this is a great story because it sounds like you played Pauper and got punished in the most horrible way possible for it. So
that's okay. I won 10 treasure chest. I won 10 treasure chest after 5 hours of play. I think it's a good result.
5 hours of Pauper? What is that, like 2 matches?
Actually, I don't know why, but it went very quick. It went very quick. I was surprised.
Time went quickly when you're bored.
There was two or three Ponza deck in the top 8. I'm sure they sped up the tournament.
They're doing the Lord's work. Good, you'll have to see it.
Yeah, I lost
land destruction.
Yeah,
good. Good to see all archetypes being alive still.
Yeah, I did a personal record. I finished the match after 4 minutes 50, like the whole match, two games,
what did you
sideboarding,
play?
everything.
What did you play?
Ponza, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I kept 3 lands both games and just never draw one, and I destroyed all 3 by the end of the game.
I don't know. That doesn't seem like. I mean, I didn't play against any Ponza deck when I played that Showcase Challenge, but that's not a deck that sounds very fun to play against or with even.
Yeah, if they have a good draw, it's fine. It's Pauper. Sometimes your hands are tied. There's not enough good answers.
That's fine.
It is what it is. That's it, Anthony. I just wanted to tell you this. My Pauper.
I'm glad that you shared this with me. You've enriched my life and also your own.
I mean, think of it like this way. Like we made you be like, "Wow, Modern was good for a moment." So I think that's true.
No, modern is great. Like whenever I play Pioneer, I'm reminded of how much I like Modern.
Yeah.
I play a lot of Pioneer, so after playing Boar's Convoke for 2 days, I can tell you I miss Modern a lot for sure.
I mean, Modern is just like good. Like I think it's just a good format right now overall. I mean, it's still Modern, but other formats have their downside. So if you try to find them, you're gonna find them. But I think Modern is good. Honestly, I think most formats are good. Pioneer the worst, the most competitive ones in my opinion, but still good. Legacy is very good actually after the bans, I feel. So this week in Twitter I discovered something. There's like some people were playing the control deck with the Dark Planeswalker. So
Comet Stellar Pop.
Comet,
that's the name.
Comet the Dark Planeswalker. And yeah, it's just like the card's not a Magic Online. I mean, why is that? Like, how? I don't know.
Maybe it's difficult to program or something. I don't know. It's a weird card.
The card's like apparently playable, right? Like, I mean, I saw that it was like bad, but apparently it's not bad because if you roll the 6, it's just a very long text. But it's a Planeswalker. You 4 mana, you activate the ability, and you roll a die. And if you get a 6, it goes like crazy, whatever. And if it doesn't, it's still like okay-ish.
Fine, yeah, it's fine. It gets back cards from the graveyard, so you get back like a plow or whatever. It's only bad when you go 1 or 2 because you make 2 1/1 haste creatures, but sometimes also they matter because they defend it.
So this card looks like, it's not necessarily much worse than Wandering Emperor. So I'm wondering now.
No, I think you should definitely play it in control deck.
Like if you play control and you play this, it's kind of strange. I don't know. I just was like, what? Like, why no one plays this card? And then Mengu was like, no, it's not online. Okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
If you play green, then you play Minsc and Boo. But I think if you play straight up Just Guy, I think you should play it.
Yeah, this was the discovery of the week for me. Like just finding out this card was a thing and also not online. So apparently it's on Cube in the Mengu Cube. So.
Yeah, we put it in the cube this summer when it came out, and it was fine. It even won in the same turn you cast him because you go like 6, then you go like 1/6. I mean, obviously I have to get super lucky, but he won in the same turn he cast him.
It's still in the cube. It has survived a year.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good card. It's a good card. I think that it's better than the Wandering Emperor. Yes.
I mean, just to be clear, the bar for Planeswalkers in Mengu's Cube is incredibly low because he has Teferi, Master of Time in there, right? So
no, he doesn't have it anymore, does it?
Yes, of course. I paid €100. How can I remove it?
Why?
You can put literally anything in there.
Why? So because the dog maybe said because you paid for it. So.
No, I know. I didn't pay much for it. No, but honestly, we plan on lowering the amount of blue cards. So we need to cut like 15 blue cards. I think that we can cut the Teferi.
Do you think so? Does anyone ever play Teferi in your cube? The 4 mana Teferi?
Yeah, it's fine. It even combos with a Jorel. That's a good combo. It happens a lot.
I mean, you mean
Teferi,
the combo that
Jorel.
was legal in the standard and no one ever played in the whole standard legality?
And there it is. Higher power level than cube, right?
Is it though?
It's sometimes.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying.
Jorel plus, what's the other one? Sylvan Library is another fun one.
Yeah, basically she ordered it.
No, Sylvan Library.
No, I just wanted to share this finding in Legacy because I thought it was fun. Like,
it's interesting. I mean, I had no idea. That's cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's cool. Maybe some people who actually play Legacy don't like that there are unstable cards or whatever.
Well, I can agree. I can agree with them not liking them. I mean, I don't think they're good to have like this, but whatever. Like it's at this point, it's impossible to have to know which cards are legal in each format. Like, do you have like this modern license, of course, but also have like this, which is only Legacy, because it's not modern, it's only Legacy or Vintage. So it's like, the Legacy modern license, but then for Legacy. Then there's, like, we don't even know. The Lord of the Rings is going to be for modern, but we know if it's going to be like historic or they're going to have a new arena format. Like, at this point, I just give up. Like, when I have to play a tournament, I just hope there's a filter page or whatever.
Don't worry
the
about
editor
it.
lets me filter.
Every card that was printed in the last, 3 years of sets or whatever. It's not that hard.
Where do you mean, in arena?
No, I just mean like for tournaments. It's fine. It's cards that were printed in the most recent 3 years of sets.
Not the Legacy though, because Legacy is dual lens, brainstorm, ponder, and then those cards. But I didn't even know which cards are printed, because I didn't know, like, there's a lot of cards. So, I think it's very hard nowadays to realize which cards are legal in which format. But I'm kind of getting used to it. Like, I'm just playing the formats. I'm like, oh, that was legal. That's the arena experience. You play historic, and then they play a card like you didn't even know it was online, but it is apparently. And they're like, wow, nice. Now I know this card is legal, and so goes on. So
best way to learn.
It's like discovering new cards, in a way, like the way I did this week. So yeah, I mean, that's Legacy. I kind of want to play Legacy also. I will play Legacy in 4 seasons. By the way, but first we're gonna play Pioneer this week. I'm gonna go to Valencia with Mengu. Yeah.
Yes, I'm leaving tomorrow after stream. It's gonna be a long travel because I have to go up to Milan. But I'll be in Valencia early Friday morning.
What it's like. So sorry to hear that, Mango, that you have to undertake some long travel.
Yeah,
so
but
it's not just it's not just train plus plane, because there's a lot of like stopped roads. I have to take a bus that's replacing a train. Whatever. I hope I'll get there. It'll be clean and good. And then I'll be playing the Friday side event at 9 a.m. There's a Pioneer large side event, so I'll be playing that one, Javier. What time do you
Friday? I mean, you know what's rough, Anthony? I'm gonna drive there.
Oh, okay, that actually is
wow.
I'm just gonna drive mid-morning so I can have lunch there. So it's
apparently that's
do you think it's rough? Yeah, of course. I mean, Valencia. Yes, if you are going to Valencia, just make sure you get some paella and paella is often for lunch. Just so you know. But
okay, so it has to be for lunch specifically. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can get them for dinner, but usually there's some of the like.
Actually, you should cover these things at some point. And maybe at some point when we have something like one of the episodes close to the Pro Tour, you can talk a little bit about what people should do.
Yeah.
When they're
actually, we'll try to do something like last PT I did. Like, I don't know if you remember, like this is a small written guide, which was like, I don't know, 10 lines of text, which is not that much, but actually multiple people came to me in the PT, like, that was very helpful, like, was helpful, whatever. So I would probably at least do something like that, or maybe just a small, like,
if you can talk for like an hour about Blackridge, you can probably talk for a little while about the place that you live. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm gonna drive, and I'm considering, bring something for the tournament. So you will see next week. Because maybe
very good. Yeah, we will. As much as we don't love to share too much about Pioneer, we'll definitely talk about our experiences over there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's also going to be good to see Mengu, not Anthony because he's too lazy to drive apparently. But
yeah, I tried driving. It was just too difficult. Yeah.
Driving to Spain was a little bit rough. I can see that. I'm not a big fan of driving to tournaments, but I think this one it's like 3 hours or something, so it's not as bad as it could be.
Ghastly.
All right, Karnies. Why don't we wrap up? But before that, I wanted to mention that we have a podcast where you can directly support us. We want to thank Steve for subscribing to the to the Patreon last week, and he joined the Karnies podcast, where kind of we can chat about every format, even Pauper. That's a free topic over there.
Cheers, Steve.
Yes,
don't talk about Pauper though.
All right.
I like this new balance, where Anthony is getting the hits instead of giving them as much. Well done, Mengu. Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening.
And
see everyone.
We'll be back. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.